Digital transformation is difficult no matter how you look at it. There is the hard way, and then there's the less hard way. The picture on the left is from a 2016 movie called Hacksaw Ridge. It depicts the military campaign to take a Japanese stronghold on the southern end of Okinawa. The army had to first scale this cliff before they could even get to the fight. Climbing this rope ladder, sometimes under fire, seemed impossible. I watched the movie in disbelief, thinking there must have been an easier way. But apparently there wasn't. Over the course of my career, I've been part of many digital transformation efforts which felt like this. And the image popped up in my mind every time. The difficulty of finding a foothold, fighting to stay balanced on a shifting foundation, and all while competing with my fellow program managers to advance even a little, and often against significant resistance. After doing this over and over, it became clear to me that we needed an easier way. And what I'm going to show you today is an easier way, one that I've used on several occasions with great success. It doesn't make digital transformation easy, but it makes it much easier. The difficulty of transformation is not a new observation, not by a long shot. It's usually addressed in literature and industry as resistance to change. Change management as a discipline has emerged over the last 2 decades to help address the difficulty of transformation. But change management, as it is currently understood and applied, comes up short for many reasons. It's important to differentiate between change management as a theory and a broader understanding of digital transformation. If you have read the change management book by Kotter or are familiar with ADKAR or any of the other change management theories, you know that they are all based on psychological resistance to change at the personal and organizational level. Their goal is to educate leaders on the reason for resistance and to present generalized ideas on how to overcome it. It's great information and needs to be understood, but it's not prescriptive. And they don't address or lead to concrete steps to be taken. Another problem is that as contractors, we don't have the positional leadership authority to act on the principles in the theories. The books are written for leaders of the change effort, which is always on the customer side. Finally, as a contractor, we come into the transformation process well after the initial phases have been started, which is often halfway through the organization's transformation effort and too late to significantly impact their current trajectory. That leads us to the system integration approach of change management. As a system integrator, change management is often included on the contract as a bolt-on requirement. It's not well thought out and has very little detail about what has already happened or what is expected of us going forward. The customer knows they need change management, but they don't know what that means. They want an easy button. But it's never easy, and often the contract doesn't authorize or fund the necessary steps to achieve the customer's unspecified change management goals. This brings us to digital transformation, which is a broader perspective that also involves the integration of target systems. But digital transformation at its core means to transform the entire organization and not just changing a single component. Each organization is a series of interconnected components. To change any one of them, you must adjust all of them. And as Kotter and others have recognized, this takes a significant amount of leadership and communication. Digital transformation, as you can see, requires a much more comprehensive approach. This slide was constructed based on years of experience. If it looks chaotic, that's because it's supposed to. It's intended to show the reality of what it takes to succeed. But if anything, this slide understates the difficulty in approaching digital transformation without a roadmap. The goal of building the proposed digital transformation solution is to take the chaos and organize it, taking each step and putting it in a phase or flight of stairs. These phases are sequential and they build on each other. The phases are marked by significant transformation milestones and are named based on the most significant event in the phase. In the digital transformation process, there are many concurrent lines of effort for each project. Not every step in the phase ties to the title of the phase. It just means they should be done at the same time. As you can see, we then broke each phase of stairs into sub-phases or flights of stairs underneath them, which is grouped according to the line of effort. We then listed every event, requirements, or consideration points we have learned over the years, and it's a lot. We call this a stop and consider list. Not everything must be done on it, and some things are more important than others. But in order to ensure we have no blind spots, we need to consider everything. Each item here has its own story and rationale for why it's important, but we go deeper than just listing it. We understand that it may take a very experienced program manager to understand what each item is, let alone know if they should act upon it. So we have created detailed explanations on each item along with sample artifacts and templates. But we can do more when we put it all into a knowledge management tool. This is a mock-up or storyboard for a proposed interface to a digital transformation management tool. This application will help users build the transformation roadmap and access the corporate knowledge they've already collected and will collect. This will be a project-based tool that pulls data from a central knowledge management database. It is oriented according to the same phases of the digital transformation process we discussed earlier. Clicking on one of the phases will present a list of the associated subphases to show up. Here we can click on a subphase. In this case, we'll click on functional testing. Now, under the stop and consider item, we can click on the specific metaphorical stare. So let's click on develop test scripts. Now a whole bunch of stuff happens. The stop and consider notes pull up any existing notes from this project. The stop and consider description field pulls up any definitions and describes why the stop and consider item is important and what it is looking for specifically. In the artifacts area, we have any program documents which have already been uploaded. There are also templates and examples which are tied to the stop and consider item in our database of corporate knowledge. At the heart of digital transformation, and any bureaucratic process for that matter, is document generation. This parade of documents is only a small fraction of the required artifacts needed to keep the transformation process moving forward. Each artifact is a milestone in and of itself, because stakeholders can't move forward unless they have their required documents. This makes document generation the biggest time saver of all, and a large reason for an application like this. You saw this slide before, but now I want to show you what we can do with it if we build the application I just showed you. First off, we can create a stoplight chart to show stakeholders what we have done and what we need to do in the future. We can also show them where they are in the transformation effort precisely. Having this level of detail gives the customer tremendous confidence in the process and increases their trust in us as the transformation agents making it possible. But let's explore what else is possible when we manage transformation in this way. If we can simply add a field for cost and expected effectiveness contribution by a particular phase or step, then we can show the customer with precision each step represents a movement in cost and effectiveness towards a transformational goal. As we build a plan, we can show how each step and each decision has a marginal impact towards the customer's objectives. We can then compare it to an actual program execution and do variance analysis. This allows us to see where unplanned variances occurred and their impact on the overall project. We can do this in terms of time, cost, and even effectiveness of the project. And we can go even further. We can change assumptions and see the impact these assumptions have on the likelihood of meeting the project effectiveness goals, as well as on the time and on budget. We can then take known project performance distribution models and apply them against our current trajectories. This results in an accurate confidence interval, which allows our customer to make trade-off decisions that impact the transformation effort. This is a whole new level of decision support most of our customers have never seen before. I know what I've showed you is very advanced, but it's necessary to give us a competitive advantage and make us the only clear choice for digital transformation. When a transformation model like this is implemented, it becomes the basis for a whole suite of services. It easily translates into consulting, innovation, development, system integration, change management, and performance analysis. All of these can be combined, or they can be offered as one-off solutions based on the customer's needs. But doing any of these services in a void, without understanding transformation holistically, leaves the customer and us, as we support them, blind to the reality of what we're undertaking. Digital transformation is going to be hard no matter what you do, but we don't have to recreate the wheel each time. So you have the hard way and the easy way. I hope what we have showed today convinces you that digital transformation does not require a miracle to succeed, as it did in the movie depicted on the left. It can be a brisk hike in the mountainside. It just depends on the route you choose to take.